Hello everyone, I'm Shady.
Hey guys, Giacomo.
Hey everyone, it's Luke here.
We're from Milan Club Melbourne doing our Rossoneri Roundup video for this week. And lads, I think we all know where this is going to start. Who wants to take it away?
It's been a good morning, hasn't it? We've all risen to the wonderful news. I mean, it's not confirmed yet, so we can't get too excited. But that the news that Tonali is pretty much going to come to Milan, AC Milan, importantly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not getting my hopes up to the point of where I'll be so shattered if something falls through. But I mean, as we film this, pretty much they reckon it's a done deal. Just a matter of probably the dotted line and announcing it. So
yeah, exactly. We're just the medical away, and it's. We've been talking about this for ages. We've been. We were discussing this, lads, and we thought, we were saying Inter perhaps were for months we've been hearing that Inter have pretty much sealed it off, but it never happened. And then keep hearing that this guy has been a Milanista since the kid he idolized Gattuso, and it felt even worse knowing that he would be going to Inter, and they haven't.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we're swooping. Maldini seems to have pulled it off. So
yeah, it felt like this is where he would belong, and
exactly.
for some reason the paths weren't lining up.
Yeah.
But now it seems like they are. It's very exciting.
Yeah. Has anyone else spent the morning watching Tonali highlights?
I've been doing that for the past few months, to be honest.
Me too. I watch the same video all the time.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's one of the first players I get on FIFA when I'm playing. I mean, he's one of the players. That's not a benchmark of a good player. For a good player, I don't know. No,
he's
seriously.
First, and I usually make him captain, pretty much.
Yeah, because I think on FIFA 20 they say he's got like leadership qualities. So after a couple of seasons, I always make him captain.
Same with me.
Yeah. So if life imitates EA Sports in any fashion, we should be in good hands. Our midfield should be.
Absolutely. Yep.
Looking forward to that. It's just amazing. Like a reverse Kondogbia, what we were saying. It's like.
Yeah, it's happened. It happens.
Yeah. They can have him if we can take Tonali.
Exactly.
They can have him 10 times over.
Exactly.
It's crazy. As you were saying, Shady, that the Inter are preferencing other players like Vidal over him. It's unbelievable.
And in the name of experience, I think that was what they were saying. Antonio Conte wanted someone who's a bit more experienced, but hey, there for you. Yeah, please, by all means.
Absolutely.
By all means. Just ecstatic. Lads, I know we talked about this the other week, but let's just recap, or just go over this again. How do you think, if we were to play the three lads, I know we've talked about this a lot, but are you still of the thinking that we should be playing two out of Tonali, Kessie, and Benassa? Should we be playing two or the three of them? And if so, have you had any changes regarding how you play them?
Well, the thing that's funny with it is the talks are still that Bakayoko's coming as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're gonna be sport for choice there. I think Tonali has to start over anybody, given his age and his potential. And then I think it's just going to be a battle for who performs. But two or three, I'm not sure. It depends if you can push one of them into a more playmaking, attacking role.
Yeah. I think you would want three, especially if Bakayoko comes as well, which I personally think if we get Tonali might not happen, but if we do get the two of them, Tonali and Bakayoko, you'd think you'd have to play three. You can't have one of those or two of those four sitting on the bench. I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you guys. I don't know, but I think it would. My personal preference would probably just push Tonali up a little bit, give him a bit of freedom, see how that. But definitely, I think you would be playing the three out of the four.
Well, yeah, on that, I agree with you there because I think he's got the best technical passing ability of the bunch of them. Kessie and Bakayoko, they're really like solid sort of, engines that can play both ways. But I think passing ability wise, he takes the cake there.
Yeah, agreed 100%. All right, well, hopefully that gets across the line. And next week, fingers crossed. Yeah. Well, so who else? Giacomo, who are you talking about? Brahim Diaz?
Yeah, Brahim Diaz is the other one that's really floating. They reckon that I think it's just about done. It's just they're trying to piece together what the contract will look like. It's going to be a loan first up, but whether or not it's an option to buy or an obligation to buy is the thing that's up in the air, I think. We were looking at another guy from Real Madrid, Rodriguez,
Okay.
but it looks like he's going to go to Sevilla. So I think that one's
not
done.
really a non-starter.
No.
Yeah. Luke, what do you think of Brahim Diaz? I mean, what's your take on him as a...
I think the potential is definitely there. I think I'd like to see him come. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I heard something along the lines of Castillejo got in touch with him. It was like, they're both originally from Malaga, something like that.
Yeah.
It was like pretty much telling him to come over to Milan and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I'd like to see him come. Just give a little bit of depth to the creative piece in the midfield. That's the way he played, quite attacking. So good to see him develop here with us.
Yeah, definitely. I think. Sorry, Luke, what were you saying?
I was going to say that I think, strangely, because there hasn't been much success at Milan of late, and it might be something to do with the big contracts over the last few years, but there hasn't been a whole heap of players that have wanted to get out of Milan recently. I don't think. What do you guys think about that?
Go for it, Giacomo. You go first.
Yeah. No, I think it's a pretty good point. There hasn't been too many players that have been sort of desperate to get out. I mean, this year I haven't really heard of anyone that really wants to go. Like you said, whether or not that's got to do with the contracts that were handed out. But yeah, I mean, I would think looking on, it's a pretty good sign for what's going on behind closed doors, even though sometimes we don't get to see it with development and relationships and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and this has happened like time and time again. Players always feel like they've joined a family or a community when they join us. I mean, you look at the vast majority of our ex-players, and they're always like, they look back fondly on their time at Milan. Van Bommel was an example. He spent 2 seasons with us, and he was in tears when he was leaving. Or recently, we've got Bonaventura, and it just, it goes on and on. Shevchenko looks like, I mean, everybody who's left us eventually has looked back at their time with us as just like, pretty much the highlight of their career. And I think it is that sense of community. I think it's that, like we were saying, I think obviously, look, it's part of it, the contracts, obviously. But other than that, a lot of players you don't see, even the players with like their contracts running down, you don't see them waiting for that move. A lot of players just are keen to stay. So it speaks to the size of our club, really, doesn't it?
Especially given how I suppose wrong things have been going off the pitch for the past few years with coaching changes and things not working and so many issues going on with rumours here and there. It obviously speaks to inside the camp. There's a lot of camaraderie still.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, lads. One last. Hopefully, Bakayoko. Hopefully, we'll be talking about that soon as well. We'll be celebrating that. Looks like it's just a matter of some negotiations. So fingers crossed that doesn't break down. One last position, the right back position. We've already got Pierre Kalulu, the young right back from Lyon. Talk about Serge Aurier. We did mention him last week. We should have really, because the negotiations were mentioned a lot in the news then. We haven't heard too much since. Do you think that's still going on? We've heard Calabria's got an offer from Cagliari, I think. But, I mean, I don't know. Have you guys heard anything substantiate any of that?
I think the kind of rumours coming out about him have frozen over a little bit for the last few days. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's just a bit because, I mean, another thing we haven't mentioned is the other big one is the Zlatan.
Yeah,
of course, yeah.
But possibly that and Tonali, what's going on, is kind of taken over all of Maldini's priorities at the moment.
Yeah, I saw that we rejected something from Cagliari for Calabria. I think they come in a little bit low.
Yeah.
But I think if we can get, Tonali and Bakayoko and that, I think the next thing that we really need to strengthen is the right back position above anything else as a priority.
Definitely get the engine in the middle of the park, up and running, and we have some depth.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind seeing somebody with a proven sort of bit of experience like Aurier, rather than taking another chance on somebody young that may prove themselves, but just to get a little bit of stability in that spot, which we haven't had for a few years.
That's true. That's a good point. All right, lads, it's been great. We'll catch up again next week. As always, thank you to everybody. Hopefully you can subscribe to our channel. As always, Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.